finally got the meeting. President Donald Trump, he met with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa to discuss the white farm killings. And Ramaphosa, he said that this is straight up not happening, that there's no white genocide going on. Trump responded by pulling out articles of white farm attacks. He even handed it to Ramaphosa as evidence. Then they played videos of Malema, a politician in South Africa, who's saying kill the Boer. And Ramaphosa, he responded to this video. Listen.
Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
No, nobody can take
When
land.
they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No. There is
Nothing happens to them.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now been utilizing.
The farmers are not black.
We
I don't say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed.
What do you guys think about this? Ramaphosa said that the opposition party, they do not reflect the South African government. And Trump said that those white farmers, you can just see in the graveyards that there's a problem in South Africa.
So the confrontation between Trump and the president of South Africa, this is my opinion. I feel like the president of South Africa was well prepared. So when Trump show him the 8 or 7 farmers who have been in South Africa, this is what he said. Hey, you know what? Crime rate in South Africa is higher. It doesn't matter if you are white or black. Okay, when he showed him, okay, I want to show you in a video a person who's taking their land and taking it. You're not, it's like, who is that? Julius Malema. Julius Malema is always say about the land, about South Africa. Nobody's gonna tell us what to do. This is our land. Okay, and guess what? Those profile of the people is even verified. Okay, so, and y'all know that Trump, he's the biggest. So if you are not ready, you are going to be lost. But the president of South Africa, he was really prepared. A good point, and it was clear. Okay, and he said the land is for all South Africans. You have to follow the rules. And guess what? Why do we talk about the 49 people who decided to be refugees while there is tons, millions of people who are losing their life around the world? It doesn't make sense. So what do you guys think? Let me know.
If you don't think Donald Trump is racist, then you did not just witness what happened between him and the South African president in the Oval Office while they were supposed to be discussing coming together on a bill. Donald Trump never gave a about Gaza. He never gave a about you. So for everybody who said, oh my goodness, we are voting for him because Joe Biden allowed a mass genocide to happen. Donald Trump just asked the South African president in the Oval Office why he allowed white refugees to go through a genocide in South Africa. Do you know how crazy that is? The same white refugees he brought here to take all the farmland that the government seized that have no farming skills. Same immigrants from Africa that their entire lineage is known for killing Africans to take their land. Yeah, he just asked the president of South Africa, the black president, why he allowed them to experience a genocide and confronted him on a genocide in South Africa. That is not happening, by the way. It's not happening. So for everyone who's like, oh well, why would we vote for Biden? And did he ask the leader of Israel why he's encouraging a genocide or seizing the Gaza Strip or unaliving thousands of people daily? No, but he asked in the name of white refugees. Okay, what timeline are we in? What timeline are we in that our president is ignoring having parts in a war that has actively been an actual genocide, but instead turned to racism and these white refugees who literally are descendants of some of the worst racists in the world, and asked their president why he'd allowed them to experience genocide? That didn't happen. I need to get the out of this place. I need to get out of this place. We're doomed. We're going the wrong way.
So South Africa's commander-in-chief, President Ramaphosa, must have not been hip to what goes on in that Oval Office. I wish I could have personally warned him myself that if you're going to step into this space right here, it could go one of two ways. One way is what happened with the president of El Salvador in Bukele. Beautiful, cordial relationship building. The other is what happened with Zelensky. You come begging for money. You try to peacock, show your whole chest, and you get humbled. Now look, this is coming from a guy who spent 5 years of my life in South Africa. I am a Zimbabwean born, partially South Africa raised American citizen. And after seeing what I saw there, I have this to say. Whether or not you want to call what is currently happening to white South Africans or Boers who are the farming class or the agricultural class of white South Africans, whether you want to call that genocidal or not, may be up to interpretation. But what you cannot deny is the fact that there is an anti-white movement. When I say anti, I'm not talking about some cute little sayings. I'm talking about an all-out attack. And I mean at the legislative level or at the governing level, as far as laws, as well as the sentiments of the people. And I really, truly hope for folks not to forget that the way in which you get to a Rwanda type situation, where one group is slaughtering the other, is because of allowing things such as what Julius Malema is doing, or essentially his push towards taking the lives of the Boers. That's how that starts. That's how that ends. If you want it to be a guaranteed genocide, because right now it's already threats to these people's lives. And anybody who tells you any different is lying, okay? I got family members still on the ground there. It's still very much a reality. But if you continue to endorse it and lie like the president was doing in that Oval Office before he got shown up when they turned those lights off and they showed that video, if you continue to lie, you are essentially enabling it. And once it does hit, we all know how that ends.
Did you catch the meeting between President Cyril Ramaphosa and Donald Trump?
Be discussing some of the things that are taking place in South Africa and see if we can help. And we want to help.
At the White House, Trump played a documentary on farm murders in South Africa featuring Julius Malema and a scene he claimed showed a mass funeral of 1,000 Afrikaners. It featured controversial minority opposition party leader Julius Malema singing an old struggle song, Kill the Farmer. Ramaphosa challenged the footage, and later AfriForum clarified that the crosses shown in the documentary were from a protest, not a mass burial.
I presume this one would have been with regard to one of the protests that we had on what was called Black Monday.
Some South Africans online are praising Ramaphosa's composure, saying that they're proud of him. How do you think President Ramaphosa handled the situation?
I saw the meeting that President Donald Trump had with the South African president, and it was interesting to say the least. I don't know where President Donald Trump is getting his information from, but he is convinced that all the media that he's seen around white South African farmers being is just like the absolute truth. And I'm not saying countries don't have propaganda and don't manipulate media, but the South African president was just like, bro, that's not true. Well, he didn't say that's not true. What he said was farmers are getting, no matter what their race is. So it's just, it's odd that you're focused on the white farmers, but it's like we have a problem with farmers being like, people take land in South Africa. It don't matter what race you are. But President Donald Trump was not hearing. He had articles printed up. He even stopped the meeting to play some video. I couldn't see the video from my angle, but I heard it, and I know what video he was playing because I've seen that video. He was playing when some leader was singing that song, that South African song. They talk about the farmer and the boer and all that. Then he also showed a clip of the cars lined up riding past the white crosses that's been on social media. And people saying those are the white farmers that have been. And it was funny because the South African president was like, where is that? I've never seen that. I've never seen that. And President Trump was like, oh yeah, that's the spot where, you know, they buried all the white farmers and they go to appreciate them and they line up. And the South African president was like, I have no idea where that is. He was like, yeah, team. He's like, when we go back home, let's get on that. Let's find out where this place is. And President Donald Trump is just convinced that he's showing the president of South Africa more about his country than he knows. Oh my God. I applaud the president of South Africa's decorum during that meeting because he was so patient with President Donald Trump and saying, like, look here, at this point, I don't care what you believe. Let's just find a way to work together, to be partners, and and get along, trade, do whatever we got to do to be partners. Like, believe what you want to believe, bro. I'm here to work. I don't know about you. Oh, man, that meeting was way funnier than it should have been.
South Africa's richest man told Trump there's no genocide in South Africa.
How did he respond?
He pulled out a stack of papers of people that have died in South Africa and handed it to the South African president. And he said that there is a genocide happening only to white farmers and there was crosses for all the white farmers.
So the richest man in
died.
South Africa who lives there is telling him there's no genocide. Yeah. The president who lives there is telling him there's no genocide. Yeah. And they're giving him actual statistics.
After
and
Trump
he's still
showed
giving
the photos
you this.
of the crosses that represented white farmers dying. South Africa's Minister of Agriculture said those crosses represent all farmers dying.
You understand, this is all a show for you, right?
How is it a show? This is the truth and you don't want to accept it.
This is to get you to focus on something else, be distracted, be angry, cause the division, then say someone else is causing the
only
division.
People causing division in America is the left. We would be much better as a country without
Who
them.
is the left?
It's you!
Who is on the left? Who?
Chicken Mala Harris, Barack Hussein Osama, Sleepy Joe Biden.
Okay, normal American citizens. Who is on the left?
Anybody that speaks up for human rights or racial injustice. Anyone who's college educated.
Because the only argument I see from people like you is this imaginary left. I don't see. I see normal Americans and then I see extreme cult. Oh. That's it.
If you see extreme cult, then you do see the left because they're all like, I personally love seeing Trump disrespect other countries' leaders.
How do you support that?
Even though South Africa's president told Trump there's no genocide, and that black farmers die more than white farmers, classism, same as we have here in America, and it has nothing to do with skin.
Really wish that world leaders would stop coming to the Oval Office and meeting with Trump. He does not deserve to be normalized in any way, shape, or form. The only reason he invited the president of South Africa to the Oval Office was to push his propaganda. The entire hour interview was just him lying and pushing propaganda that white people are experiencing a genocide in South Africa, they're being unfairly targeted, yada, yada, yada. The same type of propaganda that's led to the indigenous population here in the United States nearly being wiped out.
Take your land, they take your land, and they kill you. It's okay, and they say it's okay to do. Now, we're going to talk about it, but this is a tremendous, look, this is story recent. These are all people that recently got killed. Yeah. And I don't know how it can get any worse. These are... And you know, the men that you saw, the people that you saw in that movie, those are officials. Those are people that were in office. They had one march, they had a dance in your parliament, whatever you may call it, legislature.
Well, let me clarify that.
Yeah.
Let me clarify that because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can take land.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No.
Nothing happens to them.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people.